Playing a part in tomorrow's inauguration ceremony. He's also been a longtime friend to the incoming governor, and he almost needs no introduction, but we're going to do it anyway. He is, of course, Albany Mayor Jerry Jennings. Mayor, thanks very much for your time.
Thank you, Liz, for inviting me. It's always a good time when I'm with you.
Yes, you're rather subdued, Mayor. It's scaring me.
Yeah, it is.
You're preparing for a long night of celebration?
Well, not really. You know, I'm going to enjoy myself. We have some family coming over and things, but it's going to be a great day, a great night.
So here's the thing, though. It's very interesting and really sort of special for you because you have attended inaugurations before, but you've never emceed one.
Right. And basically my job is to make sure everything goes according to, the program. And it's the capital of the state of New York. I'm the mayor here, so I'm honored to be able to do that. I really am.
So when people step out of line on the time queue, you're going to make sure. I just want to make sure we're going to be on time tomorrow.
I'm not sure it's going to be timed that closely, Liz, but I just got to make sure everything is done in the order that they've designed it to be done in. It's going to be a good time, though. So
when he came to you, I mean, first of all, there was some speculation for a while that you would actually play a role in the administration. Instead, you're going to play a role in the inauguration. It's not quite what we were expecting, but you were surprised by it?
Well, kind of. I didn't know what they had planned. I knew it was going to be low-key. And basically, as I said, it's an honor for me to be there representing our city and our state.
It was actually, there was a lot of pomp and very black tie, if I remember correctly, with George Pataki. And then Eliot Spitzer outside for the first time. This was 4 years ago. This is very scaled down. Do you think it's sending the right message? He's trying to send a message of austerity, of course.
And it's the right message, Liz. In this day and age, you don't need a multi-million-dollar celebration. You need to focus on what you have to get done. And Andrew said that from the beginning. We're all in this together. That's why the controller and the Attorney General and himself and Bob Duff are going to be sworn in together, and we all have to work together. That's the message.
What are you expecting from tomorrow's speech? Have you gotten a preview?
No, I haven't. I have not, and I wouldn't ask for it anyway. So I'll be I'll be listening as closely as you will.
But
Liz.
What do you think he's going to be saying?
Well, he's going to admit that he has a major challenge, I hope, and he needs all of us to come on board and work with him. We got to get away from the way we've done business in the past in this state. We have to really be a lot more frugal than we have been, and there are serious issues that he has to address. But collectively, we have to support him, and that's all he's asking for. Well,
but what that means for people like you as local elected officials, I mean, you've been on the show. We've talked about mandate relief. We've talked about pension reform that's needed. We've seen some disagreement at this table between yourself and other people about how that should be addressed. But as a local official, you're probably not going to get the same kind of aid that you got before.
Well, I don't know if you can go that route yet, Liz, because there's going to be some hard decisions. The decision-making in the past 20, 30 years relative to monies and how they're distributed to municipalities, there's no rhyme nor reason to it. This has to be a business, and Andrew, I know, will want to run this like the business of the state of New York. In order to keep us competitive, what do we have to do in our localities to make sure that we reflect what he wants done? Do we have to merge? Do we have to, take our resources and see if we can help each other out, whether it's a county, city, towns, or villages? I really think that's going to be a big part of this administration, and it should be. We have a lot of governments.
What do you mean by that? No rhyme or reason to giving out? I mean, certainly the capital city, you've always argued, I mean, you're actually registered to lobby. Not very many mayors are. You've argued that the capital city deserves more. It is the seat of the capital, and of course there have been, problems in terms of redevelopment in the city. And
you're right, Liz, and I have that recent report that was done by John Cape about capital punishment. And you look at the disparity, the difference between Buffalo or Rochester, Syracuse, and Albany, when it comes to aid, it doesn't make sense.
Right.
Okay? What I'm saying is that let's have a template. How do we revitalize our cities? And here's how we're going to finance it. Everyone's going to be given, it's not that different. We have the same problems. We have blighted buildings, we have crime issues, and we have education that has to be addressed in all of the cities in this state as well as the country. So now's a good time in a very, very challenging fiscal time to make people come to the table and say, look, let's find a solution to the problems that we've been experiencing. Let's admit there's a problem. Let's move ahead together. And no one has all the answers, but collectively we can get a lot more done.
Do you think that you have a leg up with him because of your relationship?
No, I'm going to be myself. I haven't had a problem, sending a message to any of the governors that have been here. And, I think one of the issues is that a lot of this last-minute decision-making that's been going on for years in the Senate and the Assembly has been detrimental to the state of New York, because it's almost like, okay, we're going to do this, and then, okay, that's why there's a disparity, such a large difference between cities and monies.
Okay, but turning the approach on its ear was something that Elliot Spitzer said he was going to do and was not able to get done. And now we hear Andrew Cuomo saying, and you saying, he's going to be able to get it done. And yet we've had 4 years of the state's problems mounting, and it becomes a more difficult issue. Can he really come in and turn everything around?
It's about leadership, Liz. It's about someone that believes that they can get the job done, and someone that will say to you, whether you're a Republican or a Democrat or conservative, I want you to be part of the team. Come up here with your ideas on the solution. Let's make sure what we do doesn't impact the state negatively. Our state's in terrible shape, and his job is to turn it around to make it truly the #1 state in this country. And I have a lot of confidence. He has a lot of energy. He knows this city. It's a welcome home, as far as I'm concerned, for him to come back here, and I'm encouraged by what he's saying.
Okay, but what kind of leadership? I mean, what kind of style should people expect from him? I've seen him for a number of years. You've known him. I actually don't even know how the two of you met.
We met even before I was the mayor, a long time ago, and his dad was here, and you know, I've had a lot of good relationships, good conversations with him, and I can be very candid with him, and hopefully he listens, which he does, and he's open for suggestions. He knows he doesn't have all the answers, Liz, but he also knows that the time is to come to the tables right now.
So you met when he was at Albany Law School?
I met him.
Were you
I think I was a vice. I was a
When we
vice principal in Alderman.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, quite a few years ago.
That was a long time ago.
It was.
So
you don't have to bring that age up. You know what I mean?
I'm so sorry, Mayor. So sorry. The thing is, though, what kind of guy was he? Because, you know, there's actually been talk of an evolution of Andrew Cuomo, if you will. He had a difficult time in 2002. You were one of the few elected officials who actually endorsed him.
Right.
You and I think the Essex County Democratic Chairman Stu Brody, maybe Assemblyman Sam Hoyt from Buffalo, maybe Joe Morelli from
there were a few of
Rochester.
us. Yeah.
Not too many, though.
Right.
Not too many. He talked about an evolution that he went through. He nearly lost it. I mean,
Yeah.
this has really been a phoenix rising from the ashes story from a political standpoint. How do you think he's changed?
Well, I think we all mature as we get older, and you're going to find that out as you get closer to 40.
Thanks. Thanks.
You know, we learn from our experiences. You know, I'm a lot different than I was when I was at Albany High School as a 35-year-old vice principal, you know, in my style of getting things done, but I got things done. You know, but I know that that would not work today, you know, and it's helped me mature as an individual and say, okay, how do I include people? How do I encourage people to come on board? Andrew's been doing that very well the last couple of years, as far as I'm concerned. And it's not because I know him personally, but I've seen his style. I know what he can be and what he can't be. He knows what he has to be. He has to be a true leader.
Yeah, but that also includes being strong, and I mean that by saying, you know, holding people's feet to the fire, and that can be, look, politics is...
Which he should do, Liz, which I agree that he should do. You know, like I said, you know, the Assembly, the Senate, they have to come on board. I mean, they really have to want to be involved in this process from day one to say, okay, here's a very difficult decision that we have to make collectively. It's not about Democrats and Republicans. It's about the future of the state of New York. That's what Andrew's going to focus on. It's about our kids. It's about our seniors. We have to do the right thing. And Andrew, I feel, is in a great frame of mind. He's in a great state right now to say, okay, I'm here. I'm going to tackle this very difficult job, but I need you to work with us.
Do you think he will be different from his father? I mean, one of the complaints about him, there are still people around, a few of them, who remember him working for his dad, being the guy who said no, being the guy who maybe twisted your arm a little bit. I mean, you know...
I don't know. He never twisted my arm,
well,
but you know, it's
you
everyone
twisted
has
back, I'm sure.
Everyone has people like that. You know, every leader will have, and it's his dad too. I mean, he was obviously, you know, my son would do the same for me. But you know, as far as I'm concerned, you know, he's now the leader. He's learned from the past. He knows what he has to do. He knows where he has to be tough, Liz, and he's going to be tough. There's no doubt about it. But that's good. And I think that's a good thing to have right now in this day and age.
That relationship between Mario Cuomo and Andrew Cuomo has fascinated people, has always fascinated people. The way that some people say you could even close your eyes and hear Mario Cuomo speak when Andrew Cuomo talks.
You know, I've heard people say that too, you know, and I've seen Andrew. I saw him in Washington when he was the head of HUD. He would come to a U.S. Conference of Mayors meeting every year we held in Washington. They wanted him there because he understood our urban issues, and most of the mayors were from urban areas. And they loved listening to him. They loved his understanding of what's going on. So that's been part of his process that has evolved him into the person he is today, that he can be a great governor for this state, and he will be.
Do you think he'll run for president?
I don't know. Let's get by the next 4 years here.
Well,
and make
why?
Sure
Just because
he's going to have to address
tonight?
Yeah, right.
You think I'm jumping the gun a little bit?
A little bit. A little bit.
Okay. Well, you know, it's talked about. It's talked about. His father didn't do it. Maybe he will.
You never know. You know, and if he does, God, it's great for us.
Well, and then maybe you can join that administration.
Look at you. I'm doing all right where I am, okay? You keep trying to get rid of me, Liz. Why
I'm
is
so
that?
sorry, Mayor. So we will see you tomorrow.
Yes, you will.
We will be looking forward to it. I'll be there, and
Good.
it will be quite interesting. Certainly a low-key sort of thing, and I think there are a lot of people watching and anxious
It's
about
going to
how
be
it's going to
low-key.
be.
And you know what? I want people to realize that, you know, we are in a very, very sad state in this state and in the country. We need strong leaders. Andrew will fill that bill here. I have all the confidence in the world.
Well, I want to thank you very much for coming in.
Thanks, Liz, for inviting me.